a Monday. It is the WinDailySports.com NBA DFS stream, all sponsored by the Sharp app. Go to sharp.link, and you can see all the ways to download the Sharp app, whether that is the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store. My name is Jon Jansen. Follow me, as you see here on the screen, at JJansen34. And my guy Ghost. Ghost, how was your Halloween weekend? Did you consume any candy corn over the weekend?
I did not.
None?
Not. Thankfully, I did not.
What do you mean, thankfully? You've never even tried it. What do you mean?
I don't plan on it. I don't plan on it. We've been through this, and everyone in Discord agreed with me, saying that it is.
Really now, any trips to the supermarket for half off candy? Have we done that?
That is 75%
off. That is today.
That is today. That is November 1st. That is first thing I go and do is 50% off candy.
I can't wait to make that trip. Yeah, I'm going to make that trip.
And
today.
then you go. Yeah, you have to. You have to do it. You have to do it.
All right.
You have to do it.
What else you have to do is, NBA DFS tonight, Ghost. We got a slate. We got a 9-game slate. How are you liking this one?
I really like it a lot.
Nice.
And if you guys haven't read Adam's article today, you're doing yourself a tremendous disservice because...
Yeah, and I'll say I've read it, and I can already make one play that I know exactly what I'm doing today.
Yeah, it's just every day, I find myself being in a position of luxury, if that's even a saying. I don't know, whatever it is, just being able to work with the man every single day. His content is second to none. So reading the article today was absolutely amazing as usual, and you guys need to go and read that. And the first play that he'd be very upset if I didn't mention Joker today on this slate. Jokic is the guy that we're going to play 100% of the time. There's no way you're.
Is he in every single one of your lineups? Everyone
has to be today. Yeah, especially against Steven Adams, and he made a great call with the Memphis rotation as well. Seeing guys like Zaire Williams and very, very possible that we end up seeing Jaren Jackson Jr. at the 5 today with how the rotation's shaking out. We don't know. It might even be a guy like Kyle Anderson at the 5. All these guys are 6'7" with very small wingspans. So going up against Nikola Jokic, for them is going to be a really long night. And then on top of that, Steven Adams, when he's in there, is wow. It's going to be a sight to see. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Now, who do we? Because obviously that is the top priced player on the slate, 11K. I imagine that means we might be sticking with just 2 stars here. How are we playing this then? If we're going to be playing 11K,
going with 2.
Nice.
Yeah, likely going with 2, but you can easily fit 3. And when I say easily, it's not like we're punting with 3K guys that we're hoping get 10 minutes in a rotation. No, there are more than plenty viable guys that are in that 3 to 4K range, especially out in Indiana. As my phone is going nuts right now, they're seeing that Malcolm Brogdon and Jeremy Lamb are both out, so. Likely going to see some minutes bumps there for everyone across the board. But my second guy that I am plugging in is going to be Trae Young, matchup against Washington, the second one of
going to the Washington game.
Yeah,
yep.
not too many days ago, this very same matchup was an absolute DFS gold mine. There's no reason for it not to be again tonight, right? So I really like Trae Young. It was actually the first thing I texted Adam yesterday. It was not even the slate was barely out. The main contest wasn't even out yet. It was just a bunch of random single entry tournaments that were out, and I said Trae Young's $9,300 against Washington. So we both agreed there. So that was our go-to pairing. Trae Young in a spot against Spencer Dinwiddie and Bradley Beal. A terrible defense, an up-pace offense. It fits so well. Running that pick and roll with John Collins is going to be fun to watch, of course, and Clint Capella should feast as well on Montrezl Harrell and Daniel Gafford on the inside. So I really do like the Trae Young to John Collins or Clint Capella pick and roll combo, depending on where you pick your poison. And again, if you don't know which to choose out of the 2, make sure you go and read Adam's article because he broke it down absolutely beautifully.
So I imagine, as you just said, you love this matchup last time. We're probably going to Washington, Atlanta here again, aren't we?
I mean, you can. I'm pretty disappointed to be able to not only not play one of them, but I'm not playing either of Bradley Beal or Domantas Sabonis, honestly.
Wow.
So that's when you know how much I love Nikola Jokic.
You've changed.
And Trae Young,
yeah,
right?
You've really changed.
Yeah, I mean that's That's how you know that it's all about the DFS plays and it's not full bias there. Because any other day I would have said lock in Bradley Beal and Domantas Sabonis, but look, Trae Young and Nikola Jokic are just in too good of a spot to be able to fade those guys. But you can fit Beal in with these guys, and if I am going 3 studs, I don't mind a Bradley Beal run back on the other side, hoping that he keeps this game competitive because that's the only way it will be competitive. So. To be able to
too much
that,
candy.
yeah.
I think too much candy over the weekend. It got his
Yeah,
brain all jumbled up.
Yeah, to be seeing, but look, they finally put some respect on Sabonis' name, and it's about time. You know, he was only $200 short of Joel Embiid, so it goes to show just how productive he is. And everyone out there saying, "Wow, this guy talks about Domantas Sabonis a lot." We were playing him at 9K. You know, not even, I don't want to say last season. It was a couple of weeks ago. We were playing him at 9K, right? So, and last season was prices between 7 and 8,500. So being able to shout out my boy Mango.
Thought you would appreciate that one.
I'm not playing my it's
you sure?
That he's one of my best friends. He's definitely pulling my leg. He probably texted me too, but he knows how much I hate Michael Porter Jr. But I'm not playing Michael Porter Jr., especially with him being top 5 in ownership on this slate. That is beyond gross. But he knows he's just trying to pull my leg. No Beal, no Sabonis for me today. I'm very disappointed, but Trae Young and Jokic will certainly get us there.
So where are we finding the value today?
I will talk about the Philadelphia rotation. Your 76ers
really?
With Joel Embiid out. Andre Drummond is,
and if you didn't know, Ben Simmons also out. In case anyone wasn't aware.
It's Slate breaking news. Ben Simmons out, but Andre Drummond is a stone cold lock tonight. It's going to be ridiculous chalk, but if it's 75% ownership, 25% of the field is dead. Just take it like that. That's what it is. If you told me that you could wipe out 1/4 of the field with one play, I'll take it all day long. So people that are trying to fade Andre Drummond and get queued, go for it.
No, and just to be 100%, he is starting tonight. Like, he was officially also named the starter, and I imagine he's going to get a lot of minutes tonight. I imagine.
Yeah, he will. I mean, right now we have him projected for just over 32, especially with a matchup against Nurkic. It's an absolute cakewalk. So he's a lock for me on both sides, which means you can't play Joker on Fanduel. If you end up playing Nikola Jokic on Fanduel, it's likely going to be different than most because Andre Drummond is going to be the center of choice there at only 5,400 on Fanduel, which makes no sense as well. But he's going to be 75 to 80% owned. I'm not hitting you guys with some 1% owned pixie dust here to slate breaking news. Like, it is the chalk of all chalk. It should be a surprise to absolutely no one, but you have to play him. You absolutely have to. I'm going double center today with Joker and Drummond on DraftKings with Trae Young as my main third piece. And look to the backcourt for some value as well. Expecting a lot of ball handling duties here for Tyrese Maxey and Seth Curry. Also, you need to pick on anywhere that Robert Covington is not on the court. And Robert Covington is going to match on Tobias Harris. So I like Harris on FanDuel where he's only like 7.2 or 7.4K. That is just makes no sense. But 9.1 on DraftKings is an easy fade for Tobias Harris. Where in this spot, we would normally love Tobias Harris. His usage and his fantasy point per minute production is through the roof with both Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons off the floor, which we do have a large sample of that. So it's not like it's, a couple minutes. He will produce in this game, but a matchup against Robert Covington is one that I don't want to attack. It's going to be Seth Curry. It's going to be Tyrese Maxey, and it's going to be Shake Milton as well off the bench. I do like Shake in this rotation. Things get a little spicy when you throw in, Thibault and Danny Green and Cork, etc. But Shake Milton is going to be that guy that when he comes off the bench, he's, again, same example I always give, that Jordan Clarkson, Derrick Rose-esque role where these guys come off the bench, they're there to score. Seeing him drop nearly not a fantasy point per minute, a raw point per minute in his first 2 games, playing just like nearly 20 minutes per outing. Definitely worth investing in some Shake Milton at 3,600.
He's one of only 2 ball handlers on the team. Like, there's nobody else
exactly
that can do that.
Right?
So he's going to say, I know he hasn't gotten over 20 minutes yet. There's going to be games though he gets well over 20 minutes.
Well, that's it. And especially with Portland, they have not been shy whatsoever to take Nurkic off the court and play him 23 to 25 minutes. You've seen that in nearly every single game for Portland this season, with Cody Zeller being the backup now, and Robert Covington can easily play the 5. So both teams can kind of look at each other and just play into each other's script, where Portland is now allowed to run a Nasir Little or an Anthony Simons, right, like on the court with CJ McCollum and Damian Lillard and Robert
You
Covington
finally
at
settled on
5.
Simon?
Yeah, man. It's just, I don't know. I hear Portland, I said this last time, I hear Portland announcers saying it one way at one time, and then the next drive they say it another way. I'm like, you know what? Simons just sounds way cooler. So
it does. I think it does. Anthony
I'm
Simons
kind of down
sounds
with
better.
that. If that's not how you pronounce it, I'm literally taking it from the Portland Trailblazer cast. But then the very next possession, they'll say Simmons. So like, I don't. It is what it is. But yeah, I just find Simons sounds way cooler. So I'm going with that. I'm rolling with that.
So,
but yeah, they'll be able to play small. Both teams are going to be able to play small because when Nurkic gets into trouble against Andre Drummond, then they're likely going to Cody Zeller, or they might even try Robert Covington on switching on him as well. Which at that point you'll see Norman Powell run some.
Well, yeah, and with what you said about Tobias Harris with Robert Covington on him, we've seen Maxey before take kind of high volume shooting days when needed. And this is now it's not the same circumstance last year where he had to put up, a bunch of shots because there was nobody else. But I do think this is a game where he's likely going to need to put up some shots in this one. So I think the volume is definitely going to be there in this game.
That's exactly it, right? Because as much as Andre Drummond is going to have a cakewalk tonight, it's not going to be Andre Drummond taking 25 shots in the post. Like
exactly.
This is not prime Andre Drummond either. Like this is just he's 4,400 with a guy that's a walking double-double. Like that's why we're playing him. You're not playing him because he's going to walk into Joel Embiid's volume. That's not going to happen. He's not taking Joel Embiid's volume 1-for-1. But what he will do is give us an easy double-double with a couple steals, a couple blocks, and a very high field goal percentage, and hopefully some fouls, hopefully not a lot. I'm hoping he limits it to like 2 or 3, and especially against Nurkic, he should be able to do that, which will allow him to stay on the court longer. So the volume is going to end up getting spread out. You're going to see Tobias Harris taking many more shots, but it's also going to come for the backcourt, and especially with a guy like Seth Curry, if he gets hot, he's going to be that number one shooting option for them on the perimeter.
So let's get into some other value. The Sixers, I definitely understand that with Joel Embiid out. Where else are we going, though, when it comes to some of these lower value plays?
We're going to Memphis. Right back to it. DraftKings refuses to raise both DeAnthony Melton and Desmond Bane's price. It's lather and repeat at this point, guys. This is like the 7th game in a row I think I've played them together. They just keep smashing. Like, I don't know what to say. They've moved like maybe a $400 price increase combined between the two of them. Dillon Brooks is still out. And this is a very, very shady matchup for them against the Denver Nuggets. I want someone to keep Memphis in the game. I'm not paying 9,500, I believe Ja Morant is. I'm not paying 95 for Ja Morant. I need some Memphis offense. I am not playing A-Chalk Jaren Jackson Jr. I would be utterly shocked if he does not foul out in 25 minutes in this game. It just doesn't work well against Aaron Gordon, and all these guys are bigger than him. They're longer than him on the wings. It's not gonna. I'm not playing a chalk Jaren Jackson Jr. If that's what burns me, I'm gonna sleep like a baby tonight. That is a-okay with me. I do like Desmond Bane there at 5,300, and then when you want to attack Denver, you got to attack them on the wing and on the lower part of the wing. So you need Desmond Bane chucking up threes. You need DeAnthony Melton chucking up threes. And Ja Morant is leading the league in points in the paint. So you know Nikola Jokic is going to be out there protecting the rim as much as possible. And let that sink in for a minute that a point guard is leading the league in points in the paint per game. That is absolutely ridiculous. So you know how strong Ja is on the bounce. You need to be able to force him to take some threes. He's a smart ball player. He's not going to be able to do that. He's going to dish the rock. It's going to go to DeAnthony Melton and Desmond Bane, and they have to hit these shots for them to stay in this game. If they do, Jokic goes bonkers, as does DeAnthony Melton, and Desmond Bane fits perfectly with the game script that I'm trying to lay out tonight.
Yeah, this is looking pretty good here. As you can see, we have about 4,300. It's getting a little close, but yeah, we're looking pretty good. I mean, I guess, is it getting to the point where, we may have to go down a little bit more, or are you fine staying in that 4 or 5K range?
No, I'm good staying with the 4K range, and one guy that I am taking a chance on, and I was hoping that he wasn't going to be ridiculously high rostered, but it looks like he is right now. Chris Boucher. So I talked about him, I think it was maybe the second or third Raptors game, and I said Nick Nurse is not having it with Chris Boucher right now at all. You guys know I'm north of the border. All they talk about is Toronto Raptor basketball up here when we're talking hoops, and Nick Nurse was not having it with Chris Boucher in the practice gym, in the games. Like, he was just whatsoever. He wanted nothing to do with Chris Boucher. He showed out 2 games ago. I think, although it actually was 2 days ago. showed out, and then 18 minutes in a row for a couple of games now, 18 minutes, and he's getting on the glass. He's playing the way that he was last season to a certain extent. The foul trouble was there, but Indiana is very aggressive in their front court. Now you're playing a Knicks team who are the polar opposite of aggressive in their front court. Julius Randle is playing a ton of more face-up this year than he was last season. He can do it all. He could play with his back to the basket. He could play face-up. He could play on the outside. You've seen him hit threes. But that plays perfectly into Chris Boucher's game because Mitch Robinson is also a foul machine on the other end of this court. So seeing Chris Boucher there, who's able to guard the perimeter, which is huge when you're lining up on Julius Randle. You need a big that can guard the perimeter. That's exactly what Chris Boucher can do. And it relieves some pressure off OG Anunoby with rookie sensation Scotty Barnes being out for this game, which I'm very disappointed in that because he's having a crazy start to the year. So look for Chris Boucher to get more minutes off the bench. I do think Gary Trent sees an increased role as well. You know Fred VanVleet is going to get his. You know Precious Achiuwa is going to start in this game and likely see 28 to 32 minutes. But they need someone coming off the bench to counteract this Tibbs rotation where he pounds his starters into the ground for 40-plus minutes. Chris Boucher is going to be that guy to relieve OG Anunoby off some of his duties of defending on the wing and on the perimeter when it's guys against Julius Randle and these other perimeter shooters that the Knicks now have on this roster.
Yeah, so real quick, as we do have to go soon because we have the DFS showdown tonight. Myself and Joel will be going over the Monday Night Football game. But real quick, this will probably be the last thing. Any thoughts on a 4,700 forward? Because that's kind of where we're at right now. I think Jimmy's following kind of our lineup that we're making right now. Is this where we're kind of stuck in a spot and maybe have to move things around a little bit? Or is there, you could just tease it maybe for the optimizer, projection model, whatever the case may be, wherever you want to go and figure out that 4.7K forward. But is there somebody you have in mind for this spot?
We'll check the options here because it's close to my main, but it's not exactly it. So
okay,
it's,
good.
It's fine. I'm good enough given it a couple options here. So if you click forward, we'll check, especially since we have 4,700 left. We'll double check to see what we're working with here.
So we can go all the way down. Terrence Mann. Ooh, a little Terrence Mann action.
I do like Terrence Mann in this matchup against OKC. Cam Reddish off the bench should be good, but that backcourt now is getting healthier and it's really busy with Bog and Kevin Huerter. It is really busy. DeAndre Hunter is gonna have a game tonight. I just don't know if it's gonna be on offense or defense.
Yeah,
DeAndre Hunter is like one of my top 5 favorite players. In case anyone hasn't noticed, I talk about DeAndre Hunter every chance I get. So DeAndre Hunter against Bradley Beal for 36 minutes is exactly what I want to see tonight. If anybody doesn't know what DeAndre Hunter can do on defense or hasn't been able to see it because you don't watch many Hawks games, go and check my last retweet about DeAndre Hunter absolutely stuffing a much longer Brandon Ingram on a jump shot. It was absolutely lethal. So I do like DeAndre Hunter with the amount of minutes that he's going to play tonight. Kyle Anderson, I guess, is in play. I don't like it. It's nothing sexy there, but you could definitely do a lot worse than Kyle Anderson. The model does like his minutes tonight because they think that Steven Adams is going to get absolutely blown off the court, and rightfully so, by Nikola Jokic. So with Kyle Anderson being that first man off the bench, it's not half bad there at 4,300. Cam Reddish in play because of the game environment. Terrence Mann, certified hooper in LA, going up against OKC, which should be a blowout, but you never know with this Clippers team, especially with them being like 1-5, but Paul George is averaging 29, 8-5 or something on 50+% shooting. So this team is Paul George. So I do think Terrence Mann gets a cakewalk of a matchup tonight against the likes of Giddey and SGA, etc. So
love it. So that's another one.
Those are the 4 or 5 guys that I'd roll with.
So if you do have more lineup questions, I'm seeing them in here. I imagine, Ghost, you're going to be in the Discord chat helping out. So go to the Discord chat. He'll be going through some of the lineups. That is it for us here at WinDailySports.com, all sponsored by the Sharp app. Sharp.link is where you can find the Google Play Store, Apple App Store, and the links to where you can download the Sharp app. All right, coming up next, why this one's wrapping up a little bit early, we have some Monday Night DFS showdown for you. Joel and I will be on in just a few minutes going over tonight's Chiefs and Giants game that's coming up next here, WinDailySports.com.